Hi everyone, and welcome back to day 4 of week 12 of training cycle 1 of 2021. Today I felt really shitty. I was not on a lot of sleep, still a decent amount, but I haven't really been able to compensate for the loss in sleep I had in the beginning of the week. So I've been tired throughout the whole week, feeling like shit, trying to force feed, which is actually being successful. I'm finally gaining weight, slowly but surely. I'm not one of these stupid motherfuckers who say, oh, I'm a hard gainer, feel sorry for me. No. You have to force the food down your throat. You have to fucking eat it. And I've been training hard. I've been eating hard. I've been doing everything correctly. I've been putting in a lot of effort. Now, I got the 90 kilo bench press today, which was absolutely insane. And that was the best achievement of this workout by far. So pretty soon I'm going to stop this voiceover temporarily so you can hear me bench pressing in all its glory. And this rep is 7.7 seconds on the concentric. So on the way up, it's 7.7 seconds, which is absolutely absurd. Basically, it was an insanely hard rep, and if I would have added half a kilo, 1 pound to this, I could not have completed it, but I completed it. This is mental strength right here. Watch this. Enjoy.
I can get it even when I'm tired. Oh!
I think you can imagine my parents' reaction to that bench press. Now, back on to the regular, boring, shitty training. Okay, you know the drill. Cleans and fucking rows and chin-ups and grip work and hamstrings. Whoo! Actually, a short while ago, after doing all of this, I did 11 minutes and 40 seconds on the jump rope, which compared to where I was for, a couple months ago, that's pretty fucking insane progress on the jump rope. So, everything is making progress. And even the rows are really hard. But the thing is here, a couple weeks ago, I was starting to get shoulder issues. I was getting legitimate shoulder pain on rows. I felt it a tiny bit in the beginning of the third set today, but then it went away. And it's not a direct kind of a tension-based injury. It's an overuse injury for sure, because you just look at even if I have bad form, if I have good form, whatever, I'm basically using similar form all the time. When you think of what's happening in the shoulder socket, it's the same shit over and over and over. And when you do the math on how many reps I'm doing, how many hard reps I'm doing per week, it really starts adding up for these rows. And, I've been doing them for weeks and weeks and weeks on end. It's week 12 now. And I'm probably going to use them next training cycle too. I'm just going to start over with a heavier weight with fewer reps and then build up the reps again from there. But that isn't the point. The point is I used to have shoulder inflammation, which directly came from these rows. And now that I've been maintaining these 3 sets of 18 reps for a while, the shoulder inflammation is slowly starting to go away. And actually, I wouldn't say that. I would probably say it's the quote-unquote pain, which it never really was a serious pain, but it's I'm going to say 85% gone. I barely felt it kind of in the beginning of, I believe this is the third set. This could be the second set. I kind of felt it a little bit. And otherwise, I really, really felt good today on rows. Rows are, I'm not going to say I'm gaining strength on rows, which technically I am, but at least I'm maintaining, and when you get to a very high level, a very difficult level, I'm going to say, and you maintain that for several weeks, and your body adapts to it and it kind of gets a little bit easier, you're actually gaining muscle. And that's one of the rare cases where you can make zero progress, like in the mathematical form, like I'm doing the same reps, same weight, same rest periods, exact same everything, but I'm still gaining muscle, albeit at a much slower rate. And a lot of people which kind of have my mindset would at this point be urging me on to increase the weight or increase the reps on these rows. And to those people, I'm going to say no, because this is week 12. This is the last week of this training cycle. Next week, I start the new training cycle in which I'm going to increase the weight to probably about 70 kilos and start over with lower reps. But, man, I'm kind of losing track of where I was going. Basically, the rows are going to get harder. And at this point, if I were to try to add a bunch of, I'm not going to say weight, because weight doesn't really hurt you. It's just the difficulty level. If I added like reps on the rows right now, I think that shoulder inflammation would come back like that, It would be instant. Not instant, but it would take, 2-3 weeks and it will be back. And I don't want to be in that situation. So that's why the last couple of weeks I haven't been milking 100% of my gains on the rows. I'm happy to, maintain at this weight. By the way, that wasn't the last set. Maybe this is the last set. Anyway, there was one of these sets, I believe it was the last one, where I had a little bit of shoulder issues in the beginning of the set, and I kind of fiddled around with my grip width a little bit, fiddled around with my back angle a little bit, and it felt better later. And it's also like where you hit your chest, like if you hit your upper abs, if you hit your sternum, your lower sternum, like where do you hit the bar on your body? That also, like where are you pulling to? That also dictates, ratios of different small muscles and tendons and things that basically, when you change the angle of, say, a bench press, you can go to where you can use more tricep and more delt and less chest. And you can do and if you go way too far down on your body, like if you were to bench from your belly button up, which would be really weird. It would be like a front delt bench press to get it back in your groove, and then it would go back, and then you use your triceps up. What I'm basically saying here is, on the rows, I was fiddling around with the angles, and the way you pull can probably like take 10 or 20% off of the load on a small muscle in your shoulder, and that can make all the difference. So a lot of times when you're doing Bulgarian training like this, overuse injuries can be worked around with technique, although making huge alterations to your technique can be problematic. For example, completely changing the way you squat and maintaining the same weight on the bar, because what's going to happen then is, now that whatever's injured and hurting is going to get kind of a rest, but then another thing is going to be quote unquote overloaded. I don't really like that term, but basically it's just that then another muscle and another joint will be subjected to more, like it will have to produce more force, or it will be subjected to more force. And basically you're just going to be in a deadly cycle of rotating around and just moving your overuse injuries around your body. And yeah, the chin-ups are actually going well. I haven't gotten any overuse, any bicep tendon problems from the chin-ups whatsoever, which I'm very, very impressed and grateful for, because in the past I've got bicep tendon issues from chin-ups and pull-ups, but right now I'm doing very well. My biceps are they are working very, very hard though, but it doesn't really matter. I don't have any overuse. My muscle still works. It's recovered decently in a day. Even if my biceps really, really hurt after the chin-ups, no signs of any form of injury or anything. So they're getting pushed very hard, but they're getting pushed just hard enough to where I'm making gains. And yeah, I tried to do these double overhand holds as well today. 120 plus 100 later. The reason I do 120 is because basically I'm just going to do whatever I squat, I'm going to do for my first double overhand hold. And the secret trick to that is, that's most of the time going to be the same percentage of my deadlift. Like right now, I believe this is 80% of my deadlift. 120 is 80% of 150. I think so. And then like when I get to a 200 kilo deadlift, I'm probably going to be doing double overhand holds with 160 instead. And then later 100. And the reason I don't want to change that 100 after is because it's satisfying when it gets lighter and lighter and lighter. It's part of the process. And also, like, consider this. The stronger I get in the grip, like, say I go 150 first and then 100. Now the 100, I'm going to be able to hold it for much longer. So technically, I'm going to get the heavy work in the first set, but I'm also going to get to hold the 100 for even longer and get even more of an effect. Now, I'm pointing at my hand and my wrist there, and that's because basically I had to set down the 100 pretty quickly, because if you've been following my training for the last, that's my calluses by the way, if you've been following my training for the last couple of days, you'll note that I didn't do grip work for 2 days in a row. I did it on Monday, but not Tuesday and Wednesday, and that was because I had some issues with a tendon in my hand. And it's almost fully recovered, like probably 95% recovered. That's why I trained it today. It's feeling good now, and it's going to feel good tomorrow. So I made the right call by putting that weight down quickly, but I also made the right call by doing grip work today. So I feel like I'm really on top of things. I know my body, and everything's going well. These hamstring curls though, fuck this exercise, seriously. I can't see the text because like the voiceover thing is over the text, but I think I wrote like fucking dead stop progressive range of motion Nordic hamstring curl 1 rep, something similar to that. And that's basically what it is like I'm going to try to decrease the amount of stuff that I have stacked up there so that the range of motion is going to get longer, because right now the range of motion is pretty pathetic if you look at my knee angle. But you know, we all start somewhere, and the fact is I can't go any lower. I could probably go 1 centimeter lower if I did an absolute max. So yeah, I'm going to have to stick with that for a short while, probably 1 or 2 weeks more, and then I'm going to start going up to 2 reps on that, and then 3, and then I'm going to go lower. Okay, the reason, by the way, in case you don't know why I do these, is because I'm a martial artist, I'm a taekwondo fighter. Right now we don't have any taekwondo trainings, but I plan to compete in the future again. Goal is to win a national championship this year. If there is a championship, basically I've got to be flexible. And if I don't do these with weight, I'm not training my nervous system to produce force in a very stretched position. And what's going to happen then is, as I train my hamstrings, they're just going to get super tight. And seriously, like being a fighter who has to kick at head height all the time, and even above, because I'm pretty short for my weight class, weight classes, I'm going to say. Basically, like, if you have tight hamstrings, you're fucked. So that's why I do these remaining deadlifts after. And, like, mobility is never a problem. By the way, guys, important tidbit before I go. There's a difference between mobility and flexibility. Flexibility is how far you can stretch a muscle or a joint. And mobility is how much force you can produce through a deep range of motion. So that's a tidbit for today, in case you didn't know the difference, because that's important to know. And with that, goodbye.